Go to the pros, guys. Nuggets, Rockets. They've been battling out for the 2-3 spots in the West. Rockets riding a 9-game win streak coming in, hosting Denver without Nikola Jokic. He's got a bum left ankle. Good thing, though, Denver had Jamal Murray because he was drilling threes as shot clocks expired. Nuggets up 8. Later in the third, Murray to DeAndre Jordan. Just like in those old Lob City, well, it's Clipper days. Jordan making it happen. His 17th season. Played 38 minutes, 11 points, 15 boards. And then Murray behind the back to Russ. Nuggets up 96-79 at the end of the third. Fourth quarter, more Murray. The floater game, perfection. 39 points, 7 assists. Nuggets go on to win it 116-111. The Rockets streak is no more. So it's an important win for the Nuggets as they now trail Houston by just 1 game for the 2nd seed in the West. They'll play each other one more time in Houston, April 13th, in the regular season finale. Teams 2 through 5 in the West are separated by just 2.5 games. Great to talk to Anscape's Justin Tinsley. All right, Justin, the Rockets, they could very well be the 2 seed in these playoffs. Tell me, what makes them particularly dangerous?
Look, man, they played this really fun, almost reckless in a sense, but fearless style of play. They're a top 7 team in fast break points. And even despite last night's loss, Ryan, they're still 9-1 in their last 10. They've got vets on this team like Van Vliet and Dylan Brooks and Jeff Green, 2 of those 3 who have won titles. But it's going to be interesting to see how a young team adjusts to the playoff grind. And one thing that makes them especially dangerous is Alperen Sengun's versatility. He's always been a good offensive rebounder, but this year he's picked it up from the defensive rebounding standpoint. And they're arguably the best team in the league at rebounding. And combine that with their ability to tack the rim on drive after drive after drive. They're a top 6 team in free throw attempts. That could work very well for them once the game actually slows down in April and May. And if you're a Houston fan, hopefully June.
Yeah, and for years to come, you talk about how they're a young team. They kind of remind you of OKC last year when they were young, kind of stumbled in the playoffs. Look at where they are now. Now, staying out west, the Lakers are back to full strength. They're looking to rebound after that loss to the Bulls. Devastating loss there. They head to Orlando tonight. LeBron and Luka looked a little rusty in their reunion, combining for 12 turnovers against Chicago. Now, Justin, what does LA have to address in the lead up to the postseason to really kind of make the championship run they want?
All right, Ryan. So it's 2 things for me, and you just mentioned one of them. One of them is obviously health, right? Health is one thing you really can't control. You just hope it works in your favor. But if you're a Lakers fan, that's all you're asking. Just be available come playoff time, and anything can happen. But their defensive identity to me is the biggest concern because look, make no mistake. That offense has been super fun to watch with LeBron and Luka at the helm. And I think it's going to be more of that come playoff time. But there's still an Anthony Size Davis hole on the defensive end. And how the Lakers get in front of that, how they adjust to that, whoever they match up with in the first round and beyond, I think that more than anything, not offense, that Anthony Davis size hold on defense and how they cover for that will determine the outcome of their season.
Yeah, because those 2 stars can't outscore everybody in the playoffs. And by the way, the Lakers are the 4 seed right now. They're a half game ahead of Memphis in that crowded 2-5 West. Justin, thanks so much.
Luck. He's been in huddles like the one we saw late in this Maryland-Colorado State game. Coach, down 1, you're drawing up a play. He asked who wanted the ball. Derek Queen raised his hand, and here's why.
Get the ball to your best player in the middle of the floor and let him go make a play. That is a tough contested shot, big-time shot.
We're running out of time, so I'm not going to ask you if he traveled. I'm just going to say that Derek Queen had 17 points. He'll go with 6 rebounds 22 years after their last buzzer beater in the NCAA tournament. Here's the man of the moment, Derek Queen.
That was my first game winner, and when Coach drew up the play, my teammates trusted me, and he trusted me. Like I was a little bit nervous, but I knew like we was due for one, and I had to make this.
This is your first game winner ever, or
yeah.
I wouldn't have given it to him if I had known that.
I wouldn't have given it to him had I known that. Derek Queen becoming just the 4th freshman with a buzzer-beating game winner in the NCAA tournament. The most recent one was Gonzaga's Jalen Suggs. Remember that runner to beat UCLA in the 2021 Final Four. Before yesterday, each of Maryland's last 4 losses were on game-winning shots in the final 10 seconds of the game. 3 of those were actually buzzer beaters.
All right, how about UConn, Florida? I tell you what, the two-time defending champs, UConn, taking on the 1 seed, and they were giving them a run. Under 7 minutes to play, Florida down 4. Will Richard nails the 3, so Florida down 1. Under 3 minutes to go, Florida down 2. Walter Clayton Jr. So clutch. Hits the 3 right there, Florida up. But Solo Ball says, look, we ain't done yet. Gets a 3 of his own. Huskies tied up at 64. Just over a minute to go. Florida up 3. Can they seal the deal? Yeah! Clayton nails it. Florida wins. Here's Dan Hurley on UConn's epic run.
You know, I was a coach. I don't know necessarily. I was on the hot seat going into 23. You got to ask Dave Benedict. But until these men, you know, until Alex Carabin put on the uniform, and you know, and Hoss Sampson, the players change your life when you have such special people. There's a lot of emotion, man. We're a passionate program. The players play with it. I coach with it. And you're always drained when it's over.
All right, we're here with our coach, Seth Greenberg. Now, the emotion from Hurley is evident, to be sure. You've lived this. You've lived the finality, the suddenness of your season ending. What are these moments like?
You pour so much into your team. You pour so much into each and individual player. Think about the meetings you have. Think about the time you spend with them. You spend more time with your players than you do with your family. Think about a guy like Alex Carabin or Samson Johnson, all right? You've lived with those guys. You've seen them grow. You've seen them develop. You've seen them mature. You've seen them have success. You've seen them have failure. It's almost like there are 2 times that are really, really emotional for coaches. The last game of the season with your seniors and senior night. And yesterday was kind of combined both of those for Danny Hurley. Danny Hurley, he coaches with an emotional weight. He coaches with passion and energy. He loves his guys as hard as he challenges them and pushes them. But last night, what Carabin has meant to him personally, what Samson Johnson's meant to him personally, and the relationships, those relationships are real. When you go to a UConn practice, it is absolutely demanding. But he loves those guys as hard as he challenges them because he just wants to see them get somewhere they can't get themselves. So it's an emotional time, and Dan's an emotional guy. He cares so much. I can't even imagine back-to-back national championships with those 2 guys, seeing them grow, develop, and then, you know, closure. It happens so quickly, Randy. I mean, It's like 1 second you're playing, you're up, you have a chance to move on. The next second, bam, it's over. It's emotional.
To that point, though, I mean, they were not blown out in this game. I mean, Ryan just had to highlight here. Take us through the end of it. What were some of the defining plays on both sides?
Well, first and foremost, Walter Clayton happened. I mean, Walter Clayton was ridiculous. Right here, Alex gets to the front of the rim. If he tries to dunk that, maybe he gets a foul. Maybe it was or it wasn't. Then good back tap right there. They get out in transition. Just a tough play right there. And then Walter Clayton was just terrific. This is an NBA contested 3. He scored 8 points in the last 2.5 minutes. He had 15 points in the second half. The end of the game, your best players have to make plays. And for Florida, Walter Clayton made the plays down the stretch.
We're talking about Florida now through to the Sweet 16 for the first time since 2017. They were the team, the last one, before UConn, to go back-to-back. So it was a matchup of 2 teams who had made history in the last 20 seasons. Let's get to Duke trying to make history now. Cooper Flagg, the ankle's 100% healthy. They're taking on the 9th seed Baylor. Duke did whatever they wanted. They closed the first half on a tremendous run, coach, and then more of the same in the second.
Yeah, the second half. It all starts with their defense, their size, their length, their athleticism. Cooper Flagg, he's an 8-eye guy, which means 8 eyes are on him. He makes the game easier. He makes plays for others. Tyrese Proctor was not good. He was absolutely terrific. And
Proctor,
his development in terms of his confidence, his shot selection, his shot making, the plays that he's making for others. Proctor was terrific across the board. They got rim protection, they got length, they got toughness, they got physicality. If they get Malik Brown back, look, they're a Final Four team. All right, if they get Malik Brown back, it's over. Now they got to get him back. They need his experience, they need his toughness, they need his passing, his maturity, but the way they played, they were the most dominant team the first 2 games of the tournament.
And to you, that says more about them than their opponents. All due respect to a 16 seed and to a 9 seed in Baylor. I mean, Coach,
they're the same thing every night. That's the one thing. Like you know, Ray, you've been around this for a long time. You know, your defense travels, and their defense is world-class national championship. Their size, their length, their athleticism, their connectivity defensively is just a little bit different. So I don't care who they're playing. Now, look, they're not going to blow people out by 26 points. Well, you know, UConn did it a year ago.
Yeah.
But they are so hard to score against. So they can, you know, even if they have a scoring drought, they're getting stops to stay in the game.
They're through to their